Hi, and welcome back to Epic Restorationz. On our last episode, we woke the Model A from its 30-year hibernation and brought it back home to Epic Neon. Over the past week, we've been working behind the scenes to create a build plan, research parts and part suppliers, and take stock of the Model A now that we have it back at the shop. Having it here and available means that we are finally ready to dive in and make some initial assessments, decisions, and purchases. It's definitely a little rough around the edges. We've definitely got some work to do, but it's all there, and we're excited to get wrenching on it. We began our day with wheels and tires. The tires on our Model A are wider than the ones that originally came from the factory on a 1930 Model A. The thinner, original-sized tires are a little bit more work on the road, moving with the ruts and cracks in the road surface. We've decided that we're going to go with a wider tire on our restoration, but we're still deciding on what we want to do there. So we'll tackle that question on an episode further down the road. We began by removing the hubcaps from our wheels. A simple flathead screwdriver behind the hubcap will help you to pop it off. We aren't looking to keep these caps as they say V8 on them, so we won't worry too much about beating them up a little. Behind the caps are 5 lug nuts that need to be removed, and after a few short minutes, we had them off and the tires on the floor next to the car. Now that we had the tires off, we decided to dig into our juice brakes to see what we were working with. The 1930 Model A had brakes much different from our brakes today. All Model A Fords left the factory with 4-wheel, mechanically operated drum brakes. They were reliable and sufficient for their day, especially at the speeds that people drove in the 1920s and 1930s. The brakes of that day were made up of levers and rods that ran from front to back, attached with clevis pins at each end. Our Model A had been upgraded to hydraulic brakes somewhere along the line, so we didn't need to worry about the levers and rod system. Upon inspection of the master cylinder, we discovered that it was bone dry and had rust building up inside. The master cylinder and lines were concerning to us, so we added some brake fluid and began pumping the brakes to fill the lines, watching for leaks. Before long, the brake pedal began to push harder, and the lines should have been full of fluid. We opened up the bleeder on the front driver's side, and nothing came out. It was then that we decided it was just best to purchase a brand new hydraulic brake conversion rebuild kit. This would give us a brand new master cylinder, 4 new wheel cylinders, 2 front and 2 back, new hydraulic brake hoses, and 4 brake shoe retracting springs. You don't want to cut corners on brakes for any car, and the A wouldn't be any different. Once the tires were removed, we were able to get a good look at the front brake assembly. It was pretty greasy and pretty dirty, but what would you expect from a car that had been sitting for 30 years? We began by removing the front wheel axle nut, wheel bearings, and drum.
this went up in that first groove. Second groove, the shoe goes in, see?
Yep.
It's like that's a... Yeah, we need to take this off.
We removed the retracting springs and the brake shoes. The shoes were removed by pulling down on the bottom of the shoe and removing it from the backing plate. The shoes themselves still look pretty good, so we decided that we would try to fire them to clean them up and reuse them later if we could. We removed the old wheel cylinders and brake hoses that we'd no longer need so that we could clean all the parts in the backing plate thoroughly.
So, for example, watch this. We'll go to the other side. So turn the other side, and that part should turn. All right.
Yep.
Is it?
Yep. Turns.
Yeah, this one's got some playing.
Before we finished up for the day, we made a list of all the parts we needed to order to move forward with the project, and even a few more parts to get us started on the next section. With a car this old, and one that's been sitting for this long, you never know what surprises await you with the next part you remove. Join us next time as we wrap up the installation of our new hydraulic brake kit and make some firm decisions about the direction we want to go with our wheels and tires. See you next time when we tackle all this and more on Epic Restorationz.